everybody. Welcome back to another Sunday, the UBEC podcast. I'm here along with my partner, Will, the unholy drunken deacon with me, sitting there with his goofy ass sunglasses on.
The
How you doing?
drunken disciple.
The drunken
The
disciple,
drunken,
Willie D.
yeah. I'm good, man. Had a good week. Everything's Gucci. What about yourself, homie?
That's a whole. You just walking around with a Gucci bag or something?
It's all Gucci, baby.
Man, that's like 2009 shit, dude.
It's all Gucci.
Yeah, I mean everything was good this week. It was, I was kind of sick last week, so back on top of the world again, feeling great. Uh,
Yeah.
Driving around as usual, so you know, uh, didn't see much interesting, but I did. I had a fucking fat ass burger at this place, and I want to give them a shout out real quick if I can, just because it was the best burger I've had in my life. It's called the Burger Shack, and they have 3 locations in this area. Well, not in this immediate area, but you have to drive a little bit to get to them if you're up in Southern Maryland. But they have locations in Ashburn, Chantilly, and Alexandria. It's called the Burger Shack. Dude, they had this Ring of Fire burger that I had. It had sriracha mayo, jalapeno peppers, an onion ring on it, and the jalapeno peppers were the fresh jalapenos, none of that pickled shit, none of that fake ass sitting on a counter for 3 years kind of like pickled jalapenos. Fresh, still had the seeds, and they were Mexicans in there working, so you know that shit was made fresh and spicy.
That sounds good, man. That reminds me of the Angry Whopper. Did you ever get that when Burger King had it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That one was awesome too. They use pickled jalapenos, though, didn't
Yeah,
they?
you can tell they were definitely pickled.
They're just a little too salty. I like that fresh jalapeno. You get the little bit of a pepper taste, but it's like that crunch.
But that sauce on that Angry Whopper, I forget what they called it, but it was like real sweet. It was like a sweet and hot honey type of deal. It was awesome, man.
Yeah, I like that. Like the weird, like the honey hot or like what is it? The Nashville hot. I like that stuff. That stuff is banging.
Me too. I like that too.
So yeah, and I mean, on the meat kick, like everybody, like you want a big juicy burger. And what kind of has been like after I ate that burger? Well, actually, not after I ate it. While I was sitting there eating it, I started thinking about like that Beyond Burger shit, dude, that they're trying to push. And like everywhere's got a Beyond Burger. I don't think McDonald's does yet, but like Burger King has theirs. And even some of these smaller chains are starting to, I don't know how they're paying for it because that shit's way more expensive than beef. But Chick-fil-A is coming out with a fucking like Beyond Chicken or a fake like plant-based chicken sandwich.
Okay.
Doesn't that sound fucking gross? Like my whole thing is if you choose not to fucking eat meat, stop making shitty fucking comparisons or trying to eat meat. Eat things that aren't meat. Like eat your vegetables and your soy and all that shit. Cause I mean that plant-based shit's not good for you anyway. All that shit that they put in it to make it taste like meat, you don't even know.
That shit is gross, man.
It's like the fucking Takis. It's just a chemical. Like the chemicals, they're dumping chemicals in it. You
Right.
know, if you eat a fucking cheeseburger, at least you know the meat came from a fucking cow. If you eat a chicken sandwich, you know it came from a chicken. They're
Right.
probably even fucking poisoning us, with this shit. We're eating fake meat. We don't even know it.
Do you ever shop at the grocery store and you walk by somebody else shopping and they got a cart full of food? I mean, overflowing full of food and it's just all garbage, like no real food at all. Like Hostess cakes, Doritos, all those artificial juices, none of that stuff is real at all. There's no real food to it whatsoever.
Oh yeah, like what? It's the food stamp time.
Yeah, exactly.
Whenever people get food stamps, like you can see it. They're in there buying Little Debbie. They're buying fucking tasty cake. They got like 15 different Cokes in the cart. And I'm a big guy. Like, but I really don't eat a lot of cakes. My biggest problem is breads and pasta and shit. And
Yeah, me too.
I eat a fuck ton of meat. I mean, I gotta have meat with every meal, and I eat a big portion of it. But I mean, I work for a company that sells the unhealthy products, like the salty snacks and stuff like that, but I don't eat a ton of it. I mean, I drink a lot of my calories too, drinking beer, drinking sweet tea. But I mean, yeah, those people. I mean, I'm guilty because I get Fresca, man. I love Fresca. Fresca's the shit. Like we'll put,
Fresca,
yeah. You never had Fresca?
the drink.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I've had that before.
that shit's delicious, dude. But I'll
Yeah,
get.
it's been a while since I've had it. I can't even remember what it tastes like. I didn't even hardly know they still sold that shit.
It's like a grapefruit and like lime or lemon kind of mix, but it's a different soda. But man, that shit is awesome. But I'm guilty of that. Like if I go to the grocery store and I see they have it, man, I'm getting like 6 or 7 2 liters of that shit just because it's so good. I'll fucking down it, dude.
Hell yeah.
But I'm not the one like, well, I don't get fucking food stamps to begin with, you know. But even when I did, when I struggled a little bit, earlier in my life when I used it when you were supposed to use it, I didn't just go and load up my cart with snacks. Like you got to make that's once a month that shit drops. You got to make it last. Go out, you're getting food stamps, at least go out and get you some meats, buy in bulk.
Yeah, really.
Go to Sam's Club, but no, like you said, you see them, and it's not just people with food stamps, but I mean, it is primarily, I think, because that's when maybe that's just when you see it the most, is when people get them funds. And like right now, tax time, dude, it's been fucking crazy in these stores. You got two carts. They got one cart full of fucking electronics and shit. They got the other cart full of fucking Dr. Pepper and fucking Mr. Pibb. It's like, why you gotta buy both? Choose Mr. Pibb or fucking Dr. Pepper, dude.
My buddy that works with me, he was at Walmart on Friday night and he said it was ridiculous. He said it looked like Black Friday. People buying TVs and game systems and laptops and shit like that. Said a lot of TVs. He saw like a TV in like every fourth person's cart.
Yeah, it's wild. No, I mean, I got, because, now with everybody, like, I'm in a better position than I was, even 2 years ago. So, you know, I didn't get a whole lot back. I got a little bit, but I paid in more, for my income taxes. I got a little change, maybe like a grand or so back. That was bought on like paying bills, groceries, catching up. And I think we got a microwave. Got a fucking microwave. Like, you got people out here, they ain't got no microwave. They ain't even got a stove, but they're walking out with a fucking 92-inch flat screen TV, a PS5, but they can't even cook and keep their food cold.
Right?
It's priorities. You got people filling up their shopping carts with, sodas, chips, and tasty cakes instead of buying some meat for their little children.
Isn't that crazy, man? It's like guys like us working guys, and he and I had the same conversation too. It's like, what did you do with your check? It's like paid off credit cards. Like, what'd you do with your check? Paid off my car insurance. Paid off my cell phone bill. You know what I mean? It went to stuff that had to get done. Not one single dollar of it was I able to splurge and go out and get something new and shiny. And you only got a microwave because you had to get a microwave. You didn't upgrade because you wanted the newest model.
Well, I haven't had a microwave in a year, and I mean it's kind of nice because I got like the one that I wanted. I mean, back when they were on sale, Black Friday and all that, I was looking at them, man. I was stressing spending 60. I spent like 150 on this microwave. It's like the microwave and an air fryer, but they had it
Okay.
on sale at Sam's Club for like 50 bucks off. I was like, Lacey looked at it, and we were gonna do steaks, and when we do steaks, we normally get like the filet mignon or a ribeye, and we get the prime ones. So I was like, well, she's like, well, we don't have to get steak. Let's get this microwave. We still got steak, but we got the sirloin. It's just the top sirloin, but it was still prime, tender as shit, cooked to perfection. But that's the priorities, though. Like you got these motherfuckers out here, tasty cakes, or they're getting like crab legs and shrimps and fucking filet mignon, porterhouse steaks, and their kids in there looking sickly, and they giving them fucking maybe some chicken nuggets or something or a fruit roll up.
I've seen that before, and that is sad.
What kid do you know wants to eat fucking crab legs? I mean, I'm sure there's a freak out there, a little freak kid that would eat crab legs, but most kids ain't eating no crab legs.
No, but I understand that if you're getting a lot of food stamps, why wouldn't you get something? If you're getting a lot of money for food stamps, I mean, why wouldn't you get something like a 2 pound bag of shrimp, a 5 pound bag of crab legs. That makes sense. But
Yeah.
if you're blowing it on hot pockets and DiGiorno pizzas and all that frozen bullshit is what I call it, it's a waste, man. I mean, yeah, the kids are gonna enjoy it, but your money's gonna go a lot further if you spend $10 and get a bone-in pork roast, or a good top round or a good bottom round beef roast. That's going to feed so many people, and not only that, you're going to be able to get quite a few different meals out of it.
Yeah, and that's like I don't have a problem with them getting the crab legs or the shrimps or anything. But like, because I know that like on social media, it's a lot of conservatives and people like that. Well, when they get the food stamps, they go out and get the crab legs and stuff, and it's like, okay, well, they deserve to eat food like that too. Like everybody deserves, but like, don't go out and just get that primarily, and then 2 weeks in, you ain't got no food. You're going to the food bank,
Right.
and also food stamps supposed to be supplemental. You're supposed to have to, put a little bit of your own money in too to get. It's not like, oh, this is just your whole groceries for the month. No.
But we're not dissing people that are on food stamps, because there's a lot of families out there that got the stamps and they really need it.
I've been on them, dude. Like when I moved to Texas in 2020, I took a pay cut. I needed to get it. So I went on them and they gave me like 500 a month, but it went to the food, the base for the meals, the meats, the cheeses, like all that stuff. And then like if we had to pay out of pocket for some other things, we did that. So I mean, I
Exactly.
know. Use it if you need to, but that's the thing too. Like, don't lie and game the system either. Like, if you can make it, don't sit there and like fake report that you need the food stamps because you're taking that shit away from other people.
Right. Yep. Making it harder for people that really do need it as well.
Yeah, and that's like my wife's insurance. We have pretty good insurance through her job, but and we probably could have stayed on like the Maryland health care for the kids because they pretty much approve kids across the board, and we're not at the income to where they won't. But I was like, just get it for the kids. Let's take them off because that way the money's there for someone that really needs it.
Right.
Even though I probably would have got approved, just it's I don't need it. I could spend the extra money on the kids to have their insurance through your work.
Good job, man. That's how it should be.
A lot of people don't think that way though. They just think it's out there. Well, someone's going to use it, so I'm going to get it. And I'm like, no, that's for someone that needs it.
Right. That's for people that are really in distress.
Exactly. But we live in America, the land of milk and honey, and where our poor people are fat.
That's for sure.
So I mean, can't really bitch about it too much. Like that's the whole thing. Like people like to bitch about America and everything. The poor people are fat, bro.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we have some of a homeless issue in certain cities and things like that, but man, by and large, this is the best country in the fucking world. Like, we're light speeds ahead of most other countries. Well, what about Switzerland? Well, they have like fucking 2 million goddamn people. We have 300 million. We're making this shit work.
Right.
Might not be pretty at times, but it happens. It might take, what's his name? Oh, Mayor Pete Buttigieg. It might take him 2 fucking weeks to get out there to visit East Palestine out there in Ohio, and they don't go until fucking Trump goes out, you know. So
Yeah.
we might live in like we might have our hiccups, but we still live in a good country.
Can I ask you the age old question that I've pondered most of my life? And this pertains mostly to a lot of people in Walmart, but I guess you could throw this category in any grocery store chain. Are you fat because you're riding around in a motorized scooter? Or are you in a motorized scooter because you're fat?
You're riding around in a motorized scooter because you're fucking lazy. I see these. Does it drive you nuts?
Yeah, it does. The amount of people that I see that look like they don't belong in those carts is unbelievable.
You can't walk for an hour or two while you grocery shop. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Not even an hour, dude. Most people don't spend a whole hour in the grocery store. And not only that, there's some grocery stores like Save a Lot and Food Line. Their locations are tiny, man.
Yeah.
Compared to like a super Walmart, a Walmart super center, or God, like a Sam's Club. Sam's Club are huge.
You see these little 90-year-old people walking around pushing their cart, but you see this fucking 25-year-old woman fucking with 15 goddamn kids around her
Yeah.
riding around one of them power scooters. Like, what the fuck is your problem, really? Like, you can walk. But her kids are being little badass motherfuckers ripping shit off the shelves, and she's just there. She's there screaming at them. Instead of getting up, like maybe if you got up off your ass off that fucking ride along cart and grabbed a hold of them little motherfuckers once or twice and been like, "Look, you're making me look like an idiot in this goddamn store." Maybe then you seen them. That man, I seen this woman the other day. She's like screaming at her kid. It's like that kid don't hear shit you're saying.
Nope.
Like I get loud with mine, but I mean, for the most part, like it's just when it's dumb shit. It's like I'm not getting through to you when I'm talking. So like I raise my voice when I get a little pissed off. But these people are just like screaming at them like a fucking banshee.
What's the deal? And I'm gonna piss a lot of people off with this statement, but what's the deal with middle-aged women dyeing their hair like pink and blue? They got kids grown up like our age, and what happened in your life? What's going on with your mental state where at 45, you're a grown woman with a regular job and kids, and you decide to dye your hair anime blue? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like half of it's hot pink and the other half's electric fucking blue.
Like to me, when I look at a grown woman, a middle-aged woman with her hair that color, I wonder what type of mental issues does she have going on right now?
What's even the kids? Even the kids in school, which I mean, I guess, but like, what kind of parent are you letting your kid do that? Remember when we were in school, if you came to school with like unnaturally colored hair,
You were gone. You
yeah,
were
they kick
gone.
you out. And I think
You,
that even changed like between when we graduated and when my wife graduated because she was a couple years behind us. And I think even like when with her class, that's when they started allowing them to do that shit. It's like
right.
it's because of the fucking parents, dude. And
Yeah.
these boomers and a little bit younger people that are even in our generation a little bit, it's like they just don't. You're not going to tell me what to tell my kids to do. Like like I don't fucking get it. I don't understand it. Like you're anti-establishment, but you're creating a fucking generation of dipshit kids, and that's what we're seeing now with these little idiot ass kids. I'm glad for my daughter's generation. I think she's going to be the ones that come along because they got asshole parents like us. Like, people that are our age, we're kind of like we're that Limp Biscuit generation. We're that
Yeah.
fucking Slipknot or Eminem or 3 6 Mafia. We're like shit don't hurt our fucking feelings. And we
Right.
just say what the fuck we are thinking in our minds. But the generation after us, they're little soft ass pussies. But the generation coming up after them, like my kids' age, they're gonna be a bunch of savages, dude.
They're gonna be crazy.
Little babies running around the house calling people motherfuckers. She drops a toy the other day. She goes, "Motherfucker!" I was like, "She's 3 years old, dude." I said,
Damn.
"I said, hey, when you get in school, you can't say those words." She's like, she said, "Okay," because I mean, I let them cuss. The oldest one says she doesn't cuss, but we got cameras in here, so we went to the store the other day, and they were making a fucking ruckus in the house. So I heard the oldest yelling at the middle because they were doing their chores and stuff, and she's like, "Just do the fucking thing," and she's sitting there. She said, "That's a lie. That's not me cussing." I'm like, "You dumbass, you're on camera." It's like I don't care that you said it. Like, why are you sitting here lying to me about saying it? Like, I don't give a like my mouth doesn't change from when I'm talking to you right now to when I talk to my kids. I say fuck a lot. I say a bunch of shit, and so why am I going to be a hypocrite? But that's the difference. Like I also tell them respect adults. Like don't go respect every situation until you know what kind of environment you're in. Watch your mouth. Like don't go to school saying a bunch of cuss words. It's stupid. And I'm gonna get pissed off when you come home and you got a referral for it because I
Right.
expect you to fucking know your audience. But yeah, these blue hair, fucking blue and pink, looking like a Sailor Moon fucking actress.
I
Come
mean
on now.
that's cool if you're like a 19-year-old stripper in Vegas. But I'm talking if you're like pushing, if you're on the later side of 40, you know, should you be doing your hair all those crazy colors? Probably not. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's a good way to lose respect. Not trying to be insulting about it, but you look at somebody like that, and it's like I said, it's like, okay, what type of mental things is she going through? And I'm not making fun of people with mental issues because it's not funny, but it's just the first thing that pops in my head when I see that.
I don't even think of like mental issues. Like I'm not like what you're saying. Like no offense to people with real mental issues, like
Right.
depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, anything. Like, but what mental issues do you have? Like immaturity level. Like you're
Yeah.
fucking 45 years old. And you're rocking electric blue hair. And you got space buns on your head, and you're going wondering why you can't find a job anywhere. It's like
Yeah.
these dipshits with fucking face tattoos, dude. Oh, no
Oh
one to
my
hire
God.
me. I wonder why they won't fucking hire you.
Right.
Maybe if you sit back and ponder the reason you're not getting hired, maybe if you look in a fucking mirror, that'll give you your answer. Mirror, mirror on the wall, why can't I get a job at all? Because you got
Right.
fucking face tats. You got dick written under your eye.
I know. How many CEOs of successful companies do you see with like piece under their eye, or like player atop above their eyebrow, or like two or
Exactly.
three teardrops? It doesn't
How many,
happen.
even like, I go into meetings sometimes with that. And I mean, I wear polo shirts most of the time. And I mean, sometimes I even feel like self conscious about that, just having a tattoo on my arm. Like, and the culture shifted, they're more acceptable, but still, there's some instances like I'm not going to ever get anything, neck and below, unless you're a tattoo artist or something like that. Maybe don't fucking get a spider web tattooed like above your fucking eye.
Well, the sad thing is there's such a labor shortage in America and probably all over the world. You can come into the interview looking like a complete shithead and they're going to hire you. It's not even based on looks anymore. Looks don't have anything to do with it. They just need a body in there to fill that position.
Well, they're going to hire you for the entry level, and you're going to wonder why you can't advance up to management, though, because there still is a standard for management.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're going to be sitting there, you're working, say you get a job at McDonald's, they hire you at $15 an hour to fucking do whatever. And you're there for 5 years still making that same $15 an hour and you're pissed off at the world. Why can't I advance? Because you haven't fucking changed the hair dye that you're putting in. You had fucking electric pink hair for how long? Maybe grow up, you
Truth.
know? You're not a child anymore. Unless you're, like I said, unless you have a niche job where you're a gamer, like one of them gamer girls, or you're a tattoo artist, or you're someone like an influencer or something like that.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, like go ahead, knock yourself out. I mean, really, do what you want, but don't complain whenever that doesn't work out and you've got to go get a job and you've got dollar signs tattooed under your eye.
Amen.
That's just the opinion of two shitheads in South Central Maryland, but I think it holds true. I think it's going to resonate with a lot of Americans. I think a lot of people feel that way. But we can't, it's like I said last week, it's not our jobs to police your mental well-being. If you don't like what we say, don't fucking listen.
Right.
Because we're going to stay true to us and we're going to stay true to what we think is right and moral. And maybe our moral compass is a little off, but guess what? We're good people.
We are.
We're
Sort of. Sort
deplorables.
of.
We're deplorables in the eyes of many, but we have most people. We're respectful. We have people's best interests at heart. We don't think about ourselves all the time. We're looking out for you, fucking clowns, with your pink and purple hair. We're looking out for you guys. Maybe you have on the tip of your mind that you're thinking about going and getting a face tattoo, and hopefully this episode changes your mind. So we're doing it for the people.
I don't think you're deplorable, Dustin. I just think you're an asshole.
Well, thank you. I'm a caring asshole. Don't get the face tattoos.
We're just looking out for you. That's it. We're looking out for you. You, the viewer, you, the individual, you, a member of society.
If you want to move on from working third shift as an Amazon forklift driver, don't get a face tattoo. If you ever want to have a career in sales or management, don't fucking dye your hair lime green. You're not the Joker. It doesn't look good.
The man has spoken.
Unless you want to be a street entertainer in New York, get the fuck out of here with that clown shit.
Oh, oh,
We tip strippers and delivery drivers around here.
and they better not have face tats or blue hair.
Better fucking not. That's all I
You
got to
ready?
say about that.
And that's all I got to say about that.
No, you said it like Forrest Gump's supposed to be said like Stone Cold. That's the
that,
bottom line.
I was trying to say it like Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump lived a life, dude.
Yeah, he did.
Feel bad for that guy, man. Someone should have been looking out for him.
right?
He's chasing that tail around the whole movie. He just, man, he had so many other girls he could have had.
I
He
bet
just,
Jenny would have been the type to have blue hair and face tattoos if she would have grown up in our generation.
oh yeah, oh yeah, and she would have never, her child would have got taken from by the state. Forrest Gump would have never met his child.
You know, her name's not Jenny. You got to pronounce it Jenny.
Jedi.
All right. Do you want to get to some news or do you have something else you want to go with?
No, let's get into well, actually, yeah, okay, so back on the chicken real quick because I kind of missed this. So the fake chicken, but anyway, I do like chicken. I like chicken wings, boneless wings. So a couple years ago, I had those Reaper pepper wings
Yeah.
from B Dubs. So I
Yeah.
didn't know this. It's like if you're dehydrated. Well, I was sitting there. A little backstory on it. I was sitting there before they came out after I placed the order, and I was talking shit. I was like, "Man, those wings ain't hot." I'd had them a couple times before. It's like those wings are weak as shit. So they bring out these wings, dude. You could smell it from like leaving the kitchen, coming up to my table. You could smell those fucking wings. They were slathered in that Reaper pepper sauce. So I'm like, all
Oh
right.
God.
Like they sat it in front of me, it's burning my nose. So I'm like, all right, all right. So I ate them. Hottest fucking wings I've ever had in my life. They were so hot. So the next day, me and my buddy, we go to this barbecue restaurant at work. We're gonna eat lunch. I had to pee before we put our order in and shit. So I come out and I'm like, dude, I don't know what the fuck happened. Like my wiener was on fire, dude. Like from taking that piss, I'm like, holy shit, what happened? So I started researching it. I had to get to the bottom of this lava piss. And I'm like, dude, it's from the fucking wings. Like if you're dehydrated a little bit, and I had a couple beers that night too, and beer dehydrates you. And I was like, it's from the fucking capsaicin or whatever it is in the pepper. I'm pissing out like pretty much pepper juice. He's like, are you
Ah.
serious? Dude, it was
Ooh.
from both ends too. When I took a shit that day, oh my God, it was like a ring of fire.
Oh my God, dude.
It hurt so bad. It just like, I couldn't catch relief. It took me like 2 days to get over it. I was afraid to touch like my wiener because it hurt. Like it just straight fire, pissing out fire.
Did you try Pepto Bismol or anything, or would that not even have helped?
I didn't have heartburn or anything. I don't know if it would have helped. It might have, but I didn't have like heartburn. It just I had the fire excrement.
But that shit, like that thick, like chalky stuff, when it coats your stomach, it really helps you, and it helps digest foods that are, irritants for bowels and lower intestines and all that. Your gut.
I was drinking it like crazy last week.
Oh yeah, you had a rough week, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. I had that stomach bug, man. It didn't go away. Even Monday, I still kind of felt bad, but then like by Tuesday, I was bouncing back. So for all you guys listening now, that's why last week there's a couple times I don't know if you see me, I'm like rubbing my face and I'm just like, oh, I was feeling pretty shitty last week, but yeah, I'm on the mend, dude. I feel great now. I'm not eating any of that fucking Reaper pepper wings though.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better, man.
I'm glad I'm feeling better, man.
I bet.
So, but yeah, I just had to get that little piece off about them wings, man. So if you're dehydrated, if you eat those Reaper pepper wings, make sure you stay hydrated. You
Don't
don't want
do
to
it.
be you don't want to be pissing lava.
Don't do it.
It's not a comfortable situation to be in. Especially if they have like Beyond Meat chicken wings too. Don't go for that. What are they putting in?
Ugh.
Imagine if they tried to replicate it to actually be like a chicken wing. So they're putting like plastic pieces in the bone for the bone. Like
Oh
you
my
want a real
God.
wing. So they're like artificially making these like fake bones and shit.
That's that's going a little extreme if they do stuff like that.
It's probably Bill Gates doing it. He's probably behind all this shit.
Ugh, man, he's gonna have us eating bugs here soon.
Bill Gates and fucking the WEF, all those guys.
They did a I don't know if I told you this. They did a deep fake with Greta Thunberg, the activist girl from Germany or whatever, and it was like a PSA, and it wasn't actually her saying it, but they did one of those apps where they could generate her voice saying stuff, and it was supposed to be like an infomercial for eating bugs and insects, and at the end of it, she was just like, "Just eat the bugs," and it was really funny. I mean, it you wouldn't have been able to tell it wasn't her. It sounded just like her.
You know what? She would make a perfect character in like a horror movie about like psycho killer kids, like almost like a Children of the Corn.
Yeah,
Like she's out of her mind. Like, do you see how angry she? You don't care about our future.
she reminds me of like a student at Hogwarts or something. You know, one of those weird like sorceress. Fire, fire, fire.
Do you think like when she got mad in elementary school, she was one of those weird kids that would like, like whenever you did something to make her mad, she was putting a hex on you.
Yeah.
You're in third grade, and she's just like, you picked on her at lunch, and you go back to your classroom, you're sitting there, and she's just sitting there.
she
She's
was
over,
in her she was in her bedroom with a broken branch. Habumbalis dumbalis, kabumbalis da bumbalis.
she's over
Like
there
doing
speaking in tongues and shit.
what a sad little mean little girl.
She is so angry. Like she's gonna age so quick.
She is, man. Her life has to be miserable with how mad she is about shit.
Like I'm for like certain like we got to take care of the planet, but they want to go fucking crazy with it, and the solutions they have aren't even that good. I mean, electric cars. Let's drive our electric cars from coal power plants. You know, or we talked about it a couple weeks ago, lithium mines and shit like that. So come on, come up with a good solution instead of riding around bitching all the time. Maybe come up with a solution. She's just shaming people. Stop trolling Dave Tate. He's got enough going on.
Right.
You fucking bully.
Let's do some news. How's that sound?
Let's get into it.
First question of the day. Dustin, have you heard about the new zombie drug? And I'm not making a joke. This isn't satire or anything. This is real. This new zombie drug that is on the market now, they're calling it Tranq. And what it is these people it's like rot your skin and just it's real nasty shit. Have you heard anything about it?
No, no, not at all. I'm gonna share the screen and just of a just a Google skirt or the skirt. The fuck am I talking about?
Skirt.
Just a quick, just to show people like some of the news on it. But no, I haven't heard of it until you brought it up. I mean,
All right, that third one down, West Virginia Metro News. That'll be the article that I'm referring to. Okay.
so
Yeah, this is
the voice of West Virginia. So if you guys need this, you want to look at the article that Will's gonna mention. It's wvmetronews.com. The article is looks like from the 24th of February. I'm gonna stop sharing now. Let Will kind of get into it.
yeah. Well, so it's a drug called xylazine, known as Tranq or zombie drug. It's an animal tranquilizer that is often mixed with fentanyl. The drug leads to skin rotting symptoms, including leg wounds, swollen hands, and even missing limbs. Amputation is necessary in some cases in order to stop the spread of whatever is going through these individuals' bodies. Xylazine is now 90% of Philadelphia's drug supply. It was detected in New York City, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. A trend in Philadelphia or Baltimore or other East Coast cities, it comes our way. We know that we traditionally have suppliers from Philadelphia who are sending drugs to north central West Virginia or in the eastern panhandle. Adding the tranquilizer, something that is more sedating, makes the drug feel like it lasts longer. The scary part of naloxone, a commonly used opioid reversal drug, it can't save a person's life if the fentanyl is mixed with xylazine.
So no, no, whatever you said, naloxone. That's the Narcan, right?
Yeah, that's the Narcan, and that would be the opioid reversal. So if you're overdosing, they can administer this naloxone or Narcan or whatever, and hopefully it'll bring that person back to life. Doesn't always work, but it's pretty effective when it does work.
What happened to just fucking getting high? Like, what happened to catching a like you want to kill yourself? I watched a documentary on like I can't remember what it was. I think it was Drugs Inc. or something like that. It was on Netflix when I was watching it. but it took place where they did the documentary at for this specific episode was in Baltimore for the heroin. Because I mean, I don't know if many people know this. Maryland is like a hot spot for opioid addiction and death and overdose. But like the drug dealer would say that they wanted to get the drugs with fentanyl. They wanted to get that because these junkies chase that high. Like they want it to be so strong that it almost kills them. Like what the fuck is going on in your brain?
Well, so xylazine causes sedative like symptoms such as excessive sleepiness, respiratory depression, as well as raw wounds that can become very severe and spread rapidly with repeated exposure. The crusty ulcerations, which can become dead skin called ischar, can result in amputation if left untreated. And there's some Oh man, there's some photos on the New York Post. If you look that up and go through these photos, actually, Dustin, you should do that, man. Go on the New York Post. Title is Skin Rotting Drug. Just search that and then go down and look at some of these photos, man. They're just it's gnarly.
It's like zombifying bodies. Do you want me to share them?
Yeah, put them up on screen and show people that you got to see this. It's disgusting.
It is pretty gross, dude. Like I didn't see all of it, but I kind
Did
of
you
see.
look up oh
Okay,
my
so
god. Look up 5 of 7. Yeah, there you go. That's what I was looking at.
sad dude, he can't even stand up.
Right.
I hate seeing that shit when I'm driving down. Like, I'm sorry, I don't have much remorse for some of these people. I mean, I know it's a heart wrenching. Like it changes people, but I mean, come on now, man, you're killing your fucking self. Like I hate seeing like this right here, this dude. Come on, man. Like we talked about the people with the blue and pink hair and shit, but like, what about the people that are doing this shit?
Go back up. Go. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Look at
Look at
that.
that. And then
Oh,
that. And then look at the next one.
oh
Look
my
at
god.
that, man. Now, anybody who's just listening, it looks like makeup or effects that they would put on like a Walking Dead character. It is nasty. I'm looking at this guy's shin of his left leg, and it is just all decaying and shit.
It's got like black in the centers of like I guess that's where the wounds started. It almost
Oh,
looks like if you got bit by like a brown recluse or if
yeah.
you have like gangrene or something like wearing a sock, wet socks and shit like that, like after your foot.
Jungle rot, gangrene. Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
what it looks like.
That's fucking disgusting, man. Like but why like that's my whole thing. Why do that to yourself? Why where does it end? Like I don't
Well,
know. It just
what
it
they're
frustrates me.
what they're probably doing is they're probably mixing it. They're probably cutting it with fentanyl so that they can get more bang for their buck. It's probably cheaper for a hit, and supposedly it makes it feel like the high lasts longer, which is what every drug addict is really looking for, right?
I mean, I guess, yeah. It's just I've never been one that like I trust me, like whenever I did things and partied and had fun, like I wish it didn't end like in the moment. But I don't know, maybe we were just a little more responsible with it. Like I don't need to be fucked up all the time. I like being
You,
normal, you know?
Emery King said it the best. He's like, when you would go to a party back in the day or a get together or whatever, and you'd see the guy on the couch with the needle in his arm nodding out, or in the bathroom, nodding out because he just did a shot of heroin. What part of your brain says, "Oh my god, that looks like so much fun. I want to try that."
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what like that's when we first started talking about the article. I mean, that's where I was going with it. Like what happened to just catching a fucking buzz?
Right,
I mean, first off, sticking a fucking needle in your arm. It's so stupid.
right.
And I think it's also like pills. I mean, I guess I could have went down that road too, but I don't know. It's just I was never looking to get more high. Like I could do a couple things and just like I'd be fine. Like, and I didn't need to do shit every day. It's even down to drinking. I mean, I drank last night for the first time since New Year's, and I only had like 7 beers. To some people, 7 beers be like, man, you were fucked up. No, I mean, you've seen it, you've witnessed it. Yeah, I'll sit
I
down and
have.
drink. I'll drink a whole 30 pack.
You'll get her done. Yeah.
You
You do
know,
your thing.
and I'll still be walking and talking like a fucking sober man. Like you'd be like, this motherfucker just drank all them beers and he's still able to walk. How?
You'll be talking even more.
Oh yeah, I don't shut up. But that's about the only thing that changes. I might slur a little bit, but I mean, I go on fucking rampages when I'm shit faced.
Back in the day, you would just show up at random hangout spots that I'd be at or we hang out at, and you would just be shit faced off of Joaquin's ginger brandy or whatever.
That or fucking
Joaquin's.
that or Kentucky gentleman. I won't drink that shit now. But I mean, yeah, like why can't people just do that? You gotta use this flesh eating drug. And I guess that's part of like the addiction too. Like if you do overdose because you think like you overdosed on this shit, why not just give it up? It's a painless death or overdose. Like they don't really suffer through it. They
No.
don't even remember overdosing.
Nope.
Where if you overdose on coke, you're gonna feel that shit. Your heart's gonna fucking explode. I mean, we've all been there. You do something to speed you up a little bit. Four Locos, even drinking those things. Like when you drank too many Four Locos, Bud Light doesn't make your fucking heart feel like it's gonna explode.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
But that's crazy. Hopefully this drug does it. Hopefully it goes the way of like crocodile or whatever that shit that they had in Miami, and it just
Yeah.
kind of people do it and they make this huge concern, kind of like monkeypox, like where they think it's going to be like world ending, and then it's really nothing. So hopefully that's what this drug is. I'd hate to see that shit getting around.
It's not over though. I mean, the Mexicans are setting up labs across the border right now when they're making this super methamphetamine, like 10 times stronger than your typical American crystal meth. So, and I think that's only been able to reach a certain part of our country, but I think that's something that could quickly get out of hand when it gets in the wrong hands.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I
well,
mean?
most of the fentanyl comes from Mexico too. But that's
Yeah,
the thing. Like we were talking about those spy balloons last week, and like, what are China's intentions? Because almost 100% of the chemicals used to make fentanyl come from China. They distribute it to the cartels in Mexico.
right.
Almost
Right.
100% of the chemicals to make fentanyl. Let that sink in. Like, what is their true ambition?
Well, it was rogue Chinese, I guess, scientists, or maybe they were just guys that pressed pills. They were the ones that sold the recipe and sold the a lot of the ingredients to the Mexicans, the cartels. So they're as much to blame for it as anybody.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the whole thing. Like everybody hates the drug dealers and shit. And you see this, a drug dealer charged in overdose death. Look, as long as there's a demand for drugs, we're gonna have drug dealers. It's not their fault.
Yep,
In my humble opinion, they're trying to make a living. Maybe, it's illegal and they shouldn't, but we can debate that. They're just serving a niche, really.
they're serving a nation that's hungry for narcotics or any kind of drugs, really.
And who put us in this situation? Especially with the opioids. The fucking pharmaceutical companies did. Purdue, they have a massive lawsuit against them for the opioid pandemic or epidemic.
Right.
So I mean, if you want to point fingers at drug dealers and you want to talk shit about them, you need to point fingers at the fucking pharmaceutical companies too, because they are a large part of the reason that we have this problem. Not Americans have always done drugs, we're always going to. But when you have your doctor pushing medications for Purdue, he's trying to get those oxycontins out because he gets a kickback on it. You know, where did it start? You know,
Yep, you're right. It all
but
starts.
you want to blame the poor street peddler. What about the fucking CEO of Pfizer and companies like that that are making $150 million a year? The company's worth fucking $75 billion or some shit like that.
They're worse than the cartels for sure.
Yeah, where do they get the heroin? And you know that there's companies that have rights to test cocaine. Shit, where do they get it from?
Right.
They're getting the cocaine, they're getting it from some Colombian cartel. The heroin, all this shit. They're getting, Afghanistan. I've heard, and you can't really find the articles, but I've heard people talking about guarding poppy fields in Afghanistan. The U.S. military
I've
guarding
heard of
poppy
that.
garden poppy fields, and you want to get into that too. Iraq. When we were in Iraq, we were guarding the fucking oil wells and shit for the Chinese. We didn't benefit from that oil. We were keeping it safe for the Chinese. So
Well,
where does this
what
all start? You know,
what was it? Your buddy that was in the army, wasn't most of his wasn't didn't he have a detail that he did for the longest time where they were guarding an oil field in Africa or something like that?
it was like I can't even remember. I don't even
You know
remember
what
who it
I'm
was.
talking you know what I'm talking about
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
right?
There's a dude that I knew out down south.
That's all he did was they just guarded this oil field. I can't remember where it was. I swear I thought you said Africa, but I probably could be wrong. I probably am wrong.
So you hate us for driving our gas powered cars. You hate the drug dealers for selling on the corners. You know, you hate the prostitutes that are on the corners, but it's okay for a senator to have a prostitute. It's okay for the US to guard oil wells for other countries that are our enemies, and it's okay for a pharmaceutical company to poison the nation. You know, how many advertisements just in the Super Bowl alone did you see for Prozac, for a medication for depression, for a medication for heart disease? I mean, we're one of the only countries in the world that allow pharmaceutical companies to advertise.
You can't have advertisements for tobacco products and you limit your advertisement for alcoholic beverages, but yet we can push pills and have commercials and advertisements all day and all night long.
Do you remember some of the ads when we were younger? Like we were teenagers because that's when the opioid shit kind of kicked off in the late 90s, early 2000s, but they had advertisements for Oxycontin,
Yeah, I remember. I remember.
like saying it's an addiction-free drug, like for pain.
Have you ever seen Dope Sick Nation on Hulu?
Yeah, yeah, that's some of where I got some of my information from. Isn't that's the kid that got shot? His dad was a pharmacist or something, and or is that a different?
No, that's a different one, but that's pretty much the same type of deal. That was about a pill mill that was going on in Florida. This woman was, prescribing all these narcotics. Dope Sick Nation is who's the guy that played Batman in 1989? Was that not Kevin Costner? What's his name?
Kilmer or Keaton?
Michael Keaton. Yeah, Michael Keaton plays a doctor, a small town doctor in West Virginia, and it shows how he was manipulated by these pharmaceutical reps to prescribe this entire town with Oxycontin, and it all just went to hell. It's a great series, man. I think it's only 6 episodes, but
It was
if you haven't
Purdue.
seen it,
That's yeah, I know exactly what
yeah,
you're talking about. It was about the Purdue Pharma,
yep,
and yeah, well, that's what they did. They
exactly.
sent these sales reps in to peddle the drugs. You
It
know,
was
they
just
sent you could get
it,
free samples and shit from your doctor for just about anything, especially back then. Man, it was the Wild West.
it follows the Sackler family, who was the family that pretty much owned and operated Purdue, and just how their greed, their hunger for more and more and more destroyed so many lives. It was really cool.
And maybe at
Well,
the beginning
no,
they did have the best interest, but then when the studies started coming out about the addiction, they still kept fucking pushing it.
let me go back on what I said. It was not cool, okay? But it was interesting how they portrayed it in a dramatic, in a drama series. So sorry, I don't think it's cool. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think I mean, maybe some people might construe that, but no, I didn't think that you thought it was cool like that. I think yeah, it's cool that it kind of shines a light on that in a way that's entertaining. I like that whenever they do the dramatizations because it brings like some people don't like documentaries. So a
Right.
person that likes to watch a TV show, a once a week kind of hour long TV show would maybe watch that who wouldn't watch a documentary, but it still gets the information out to them. So
Right.
that's what you meant.
That's exactly what I meant. Thank you.
Will just doesn't
You want to
love
go?
drug dealers and pharmaceutical.
Yeah, I don't like pharmaceutical families like the Sackler family. I think they're unholy shitbags. Do you want to go? Do you want to go with a more lighthearted article here? This one's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, yeah, let's go with it.
All right, this is from yourtango.com. written on February 10th of this year. Mom pulls 9-year-old daughter from class water park trip after teacher paired her with a kid who picks his nose.
So the kid picked his nose, and she said, "Nope, not having him having my daughter around that nose picker."
Pretty much. This girl's name is Bren. That might be her last name. Bren's mother was angered after learning that her daughter was paired with a kid who picks his nose for their school trip. The mother wrote that she had to coax the reason why her daughter was suddenly not looking forward to going to the water park with her class. At her mom's insistence, Bren revealed that her teacher, Miss N, had forced her to pair up with another kid in the class, Ben, who complains about having to do work and constantly picks his nose and wipes his boogers everywhere.
So the mom posted it in "Am I the asshole" on Reddit? Like that the
Yeah,
question. So
yep.
I'll answer your question. Yeah, you're the asshole. Your daughter loves it's a water park. That booger's gonna wash off, even if he does pick. And he's notorious for picking his nose, but and wiping it on things, but wiping it on hopefully inanimate objects. Maybe under the desk or something like that. It's not saying he's a notorious nose picker who likes to walk around and shove his boogers on people.
But that's basically what it's saying, man. It's saying that he constantly wiping his boogers everywhere. That's the quote from the article.
She paired him with. I mean, if the was the mom going to be a chaperone or something, or maybe if you're that concerned, don't pull out of the fucking trip. Your daughter loves the water.
She immediately sent her daughter's teacher a worried email about the entire situation. In response, her daughter's teacher did not budge on Bren being partnered with Ben. Ben was the nose picking boy, telling the mother that if Bren goes on the trip, she has to be Ben's buddy. The teacher is not going to budge on this.
On top of that, she told the other mothers in the daughter's class about what the teacher did, and they decided to pull their children. In total, 8 kids out of the 20 are either not going or going with us. Like, so yeah, you're kind of an asshole. Like, you're ruining it for the whole class, just because Ben's picking his boogers. The teacher could have reassigned her too. I mean, let's be real about that also. How hard is it just to give her another buddy?
I wonder why the teacher wouldn't budge on that.
Because they're on fucking power trips, dude. A lot of these teachers, they're the fucking kings or queens in their little kingdom, and they think that they have all of the power over our children. So, I think she's an asshole, but I think she's well within her rights. She's the child's parent. I think it's kind of douchey on everybody. The whole situation could have been handled different, from the mother to the teacher. But
I agree with
ultimately,
that.
it's the mother's right. I see. I would have just lied. Like, you wouldn't have known. I would have been a chaperone. I'm a notorious nose picker, dude. I don't know if you know, but I get them boogers in there, especially
I'm
when
not. I
there's
never pick my nose.
if there's a good meaty one that's kind of hard and it's got some slime behind it. It feels like you're pulling it out of your fucking eyeball.
Yeah, I know what you mean, dude. Yeah.
Those are the good boogers, but I wouldn't have said anything. I would have been a chaperone and say, I knew this mom was kind of an asshole. I'd have been picking my boogers and flicking them on her and her daughter in the bus.
Ew.
I'd
Ew.
have I'd have waited for everybody to get off the bus. I'd pick my nose and sat it on her seat. Just put the booger. So
Oh,
when she came
dude.
in, she splat right on my boogers, dude.
That's wrong.
No, I wouldn't have done that. But I mean, come on. They're kids. They're 8-year-old, like they're 8, right? In that age?
Yeah, I think so.
Like elementary age, we'll say. Come on. The kids pick their nose. Like, you're gonna keep your kid from going on a field trip with her friends, and then you're gonna be extra cunty and like tell the other moms. It's like she's probably one of those, like, we have them in this community too, like the little fucking clique of moms that just think that they're so much better than all the other moms and their kids. It's like I said the other week, reality check. Your kids aren't as fucking great as you think they are. Like, they're those moms. They think their kids do no fucking wrong. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree. I
I
think
bet you little Bryn's picking her nose and putting it under her bed.
she's just not telling mama about it.
Uh-uh. Every kid picks their nose. Come on, dude. At
Do you
some
sudden
point in your
do you
child's
su-
life,
do you suddenly feel like you have a nose full of boogers right now? Because I
I
do.
I do. I could feel them. As soon as we're done recording this, I'm gonna fucking pick them and I'm gonna flick them at my kids.
You sick bastard.
Hey, you want to taste? No, my kids pick their nose. Avery, I mean, they pick their nose. What are we gonna do? You tell them not to do it, but then they look over and they see you three knuckles deep, getting a fucking booger meteorite out of your fucking nose. You tell them not to do it, they're gonna turn around and do it. They're like, "Daddy's picking his nose." I don't eat that shit though, like you dirty motherfucker.
Me?
No, my kids.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
You eat them?
I, I've never eaten a booger in my life.
You put a little
I've
Tabasco sauce on it, don't you?
I've picked plenty. I've dug for gold most of my life, but I've never ate any nuggets.
You put a little pepper on it, just a little
A little
pepper.
pepper, just a little pepper.
Give it some spice. You probably put some curry on it. You probably got like a fucking skillet sitting there of just boogers that you collected all week long. You just been flicking them in this pan. You get a little fucking olive oil, a little curry, some pepper. You cook them up real nice, don't you? Look at
Oh fuck, dude, you got my nose fucking itching, Bubby.
it's like when someone starts talking about bugs, you start
Ah,
feeling like something's crawling on you, huh?
dude, it feels like Booger City up in my nostrils right now, bub. Not cool.
Man.
Are you ready for number 3 article of the week?
Yeah, yeah, let's get into that one.
All
What's
right.
this one?
No, that was our kids article. I don't have anything about robotics, but I suppose this could be close enough. This is from the Drive, which we've covered articles from the Drive before. They usually have some pretty interesting stuff. This article was published on the 18th of February. The average American man is too fat for Universal's new Mario Kart ride.
Universal, which one is that? Which Universal?
Which Universal? It's this new Mario World amusement park, I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah, right
that's
here.
the article. Yeah, that's the article, and that's the ride.
Oh, it's in Hollywood. There's no fat people in California.
You don't think?
No, there is. There's fat people. It's America. I'm fat. I'm here. I'm not in California, but
The Mario Kart ride restricts anyone with a 40-inch waist or larger from riding. According to the CDC, the average American man's waist is 40.5 inches, which means most American men will be excluded from the ride. The average American woman's waist, however, is 38.7 inches. Dude, that's still a big waist. For a woman, that's the average woman's waist?
well, I don't know. Women have bigger hips. You think
That's
for
true. Yeah. Yeah.
childbirth and all that. So I guess it just depends. I mean, but that's a little small if you're making a ride, though. You think about because even guys that I know that are smaller in stature, like you probably wear what, a 36, 34?
34.
Yeah, and you're probably buck 70, buck 80 in there.
I, I'm around a buck 70, but I keep growing, man.
So
I'm still I'm a
say
growing boy.
you're a 34, and like even with me, I'm fat now. I wear a size 40, but I wear a size 40 from being at my biggest when I was like 300, 315. Uh, right now I'm sitting around 275, but I'll wear a size 40 until I get down to about 220.
Right.
It's just the way I'm built. I'm a big guy.
Yeah, you are. You're a naturally big guy. I think you were just born big boned.
And I'm tall. I'm taller. If I'm 140 pounds, I look skinny. Or
Right.
180 pounds or so. My ideal weight is right around that 200, 220. I haven't seen it since high school, but or just after high school. So I mean, yeah, they're going a little small in that because I'm about the size of an average adult male, like as far as height and wearing a size 40 pant.
Well, the first Super Mario World was actually in Japan. So if they created these rides from the Japanese version of the park, then yeah, I would imagine most Japanese guys are under what is it, a 40-inch waist that they're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Yeah. Most of them are pretty slim, you know?
yeah. What's their diet too? I mean, but you're making a ride in America. But I mean, at the end of the day, the ride's for the kids, right? Mainly.
Yeah, I think the whole park is kind of designed for kids more than anything.
So if the people are pissed off about it, it's like the shit's for the kids. Take your kids there. Maybe you can't ride it, or if you want to ride the ride, because and like I said, I think they made the ride a little small. Maybe they should have had some foresight on that. But at the end of the day, it's your responsibility. If you want to ride the
Right.
ride, lose some fucking weight. And I'm saying that as a big guy. I'm not going to go and be, enraged that a theme park made a ride that I won't fit in. If I
Well,
really want to ride the ride, I'll lose some weight.
according to the Ocean City Register, a 52-inch waisted man was able to fit on the ride using 4 tips provided by Universal for anyone who is worried they won't fit. As the Universal statement said, there is indeed a test seat near the entrance of the ride, which features a light on the pull down bar that tells potential riders if they'll fit. It also suggested that taller guests sit in the back row as the seats have more leg room. If you can, Universal also suggests stretching out your legs to flatten your thighs to pull the lap bar so the lap bar fits better. Lastly, guests are told to try using their momentum and pull the lap bar down as they sit so their weight can help force it down into position, allowing them to fit.
So it's like just tuck that fat in.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They use the bar to just tuck it in as best you can.
But you said they provided an accommodation for a bigger guy. So I mean,
No, they don't provide an accommodation. They provide a test seat before you get on the ride. So I guess when you're in line, there's a test seat to see if you're gonna be able to fit it or not.
oh yeah, well they have that at like down at Six Flags too, here in Virginia, close to us.
Right.
A couple of the rides like the Firebird and a couple of those. I mean, and it's not even from the waist; it's from my shoulders. I was pretty big, like it was hard for me to get it in, and it wasn't. Like I said, it wasn't because it was one of the ones like a free hanging one.
Right.
So the lap band wasn't what got me; it was my shoulders and my chest. And
Okay.
it's like my wife. I mean, got some bigger ones, and it wouldn't fit her either. I mean, it fit me just barely. But I'm riding that ride thinking I'm gonna fall out the whole time. I'm gonna like hulk out and just my shoulders are gonna bust out of that ride.
Is that right?
But I mean, it all boils down to it. It's your size, and there's even guys that are weightlifters, so it's not even a fat thing. Like say you're a power lifter or something, and you're stacked and jacked. You got a BMI of say 20 or 15%. You're not gonna fit in it because you're a bigger guy. You got muscles and stuff.
Right. Exactly. So it doesn't just apply to just overweight men or women. I mean, anybody with a big body mass.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Like I said, they should have had a little more foresight. But by and large, these theme parks and shit like that are made for children. If you're getting unruly and upset, just I don't think anyone is yet. There's a couple TikTok videos out, I think, after you told me about it that I seen. Universal forced to stop ride. I don't think there's any veracity to that claim. I don't think it's true. But if you're going to be a shithead and try to cancel it for the kids, get the fuck out of here. It's like when I went to the National Aquarium a couple weeks ago. I took the kids down there, and dude, you wouldn't believe it. Like the adults they're assholes, man. They're running over like little 2 and 3 year old kids who want to see a seahorse just so they can see it. And they're not even looking through their eyes. They're looking through the picture or the camera of their phone
Right.
because they want to get a fucking Instagram picture or something. Let the kids. That's what that stuff's made for. Disneyland. These people that want to go out and get married at fucking Disney World and shit. And you're a fucking adult. It's for children. You're taking time away, and the astronomical prices that they want for some of these places anymore.
Yeah, that's the worst part. They're charging an arm and a leg.
It's like, come on now, Trisha. You're not 16 anymore. You're 37 years old. You and your husband, and they're going to Disney and shit without their kids. Come on now. The shit's for children. So these people are going to protest because their fat ass can't get into the Mario Kart ride. You're not going to see me stand in a line protesting Mario Kart because I'm fat.
Right.
It's called personal responsibility. Let's get some. How about that? And if you're fat, lose the fucking weight. And don't get so in your feelings when someone tells you you're fat. You know how many fucking comments I get that aren't even related to the fucking podcast and some of these YouTube videos? Someone with a BMI shouldn't be talking. Fuck you. I don't really care what you know. If it were that big of a concern, don't you think I'd address it?
Right.
The people just like I understand. I'm a big dude. I don't give a fuck, and I don't care if someone says something about fat people, fat shaming and shit like that. Who fucking cares? Get off your high horse. The
Yeah,
shit wasn't made for you.
that type of shit doesn't affect guys like you and I because we got thick skin, man. We were born that way.
It boils down to personal accountability. If you want to ride the ride, lose some weight.
It's like Jocko says, man. It's all about ownership.
Exactly. 100%. Just own your shit. It's the people that are going to complain about it are going to be the ones that you were talking about earlier. You know, these mid 40-year-old women with fucking blue hair. They're the loudest.
Yep.
Middle-aged white women are the loudest fucking group in the entire country.
Yeah.
Dude, they are the fucking squeaky wheel and they get all the oil. There ain't no oil left for anybody else with some real concerns or complaints.
They're getting the grease, baby.
Yeah, they're worried about fucking their daughter sitting next to Ben, the nose picker. You know, it's those kind of people. They're Karens.
Yep.
It's the woman that hopped on off our first or second episode talking about kids aren't idiots. You're Karen. Like, did it bother? Why did it bother you so much that I said kids are idiots that you had to come on and fucking comment about it? Why does it bother you so much that fat people can't ride in it? And it'll be the one that's not even fat. It'll be a fucking skinny, like 19-year-old girl that fits in the ride. And she's like, but it's not fair because her best friend is fucking 600 pounds. And rather than her telling her best friend, hey, lose some fucking weight, she'll act outraged and try to get the world to change just for that one fucking person. It's bullshit.
She's pissed off because she brought Shamu to the fucking adventure park and it ruined the experience for her.
Yeah, maybe you should be mad at your friend.
Yeah, maybe.
Did you really need to eat a 40-piece nugget, 10 McDoubles, and drink down 3 32-ounce Cokes on the way here? You know, maybe start calling your friends out on their shit. You told me the other week to calm down a little bit because it's not good for my health.
Right, I
So
did.
I've been trying to chill out a little bit more.
But you haven't.
I've a little bit. Pandas aren't riling me up quite as much anymore, so
Well, I'm still worried about you.
I'm taking steps. You
You're
know,
taking
these
you're taking action. That's what counts, you know?
Yeah, and you guys see my face right now. It's red not because I'm pissed off. It's red because I can't figure out this goddamn baseboard heater, and it was like the seventh layer of hell in this room when I started recording.
Yeah, you were saying that.
And I have to have the windows shut because I live on the side of a busy road, and it's fucking people have no regard for anybody else's, silence. They're just noise polluting with their loud ass fucking Mustangs.
Dude, town is loud today, man. And this morning it was so cold. I left out early. It was so cold and foggy, and I get off work and it's all nice and sunny and warmer. I think, in my opinion, everyone and their mother, infant daughter, and grandmother must have got a motorcycle during the pandemic
Yeah.
because I have never seen so many motorcycles on the road in this area in my entire fucking life. And dude, I'm talking about back when the pagans, pretty much ruled this area where if it was summertime, you always saw a group of bikers 12, 15 deep. Now they're not even wearing cuts. It's like your neighbor who
Yeah.
who just got off of teaching soccer practice, getting on a Harley and just roaring through town.
Well, this time of year is the worst too because they act, especially in a winter like this where we've had a mild winter. It's like they they act like we've been in the fucking Arctic for the past 3 months when it's actually been pretty decent all winter. And it's
Yeah,
like, hey, Virgil, get the motorcycle ready. It's over 42 degrees. We can go riding today.
exactly. Yeah.
And it's this fucking doctor who thinks that he's fucking Jax Teller, and they get these loud ass exhausts and shit. You dude, get you a fucking comfort like a Road King or something. Get you one of those chilled out motorcycles. No, they're riding around with these loud ass fucking bobber wannabe motorcycles, and it's like, okay, we hit a little stop sign. Now we have to just slam on the gas and have all kinds of noise pollution.
Yeah, they're all fucking boomers usually. It reminds me of the movie Wild Hogs with Travolta, where that one biker calls him out. He looks at John Travolta and he's like, "And you're the biggest poser of them all," and pointing out all the reasons why he's not a real biker and everything.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's like, come on, man. And it's save that shit for April when it is warm. You know you're cold, even at like 50, 60 degrees. It's cold riding on a motorcycle. You got the wind going through and at 50, 60 miles an hour. It's cold as shit.
Do you remember that fateful day in May back in 2022 where we literally had my apartment as a Native American sweat lodge?
Yeah,
Remember
that
that?
it was hot as fucking that.
it was so hot, man. You know what? I did not cool off that day until like midnight when I finally fell asleep.
I got home and stood in front of the portable air conditioner that I had in the living room, and I just put my shirt over it, and I would just let the cold air just hit me. It was so hot in your apartment, dude. It was like, I don't know, like I don't think I've ever been that hot in my life.
It was
We were
mind
both
bending.
we're both just like profusely sweating.
I remember about like 4 hours after you got there, you were in the bathroom and you're like, it's so fucking hot. and I looked at you and you were just drenched in sweat. After you left, I took the coldest shower imaginable. It was like a Gatorade ice bath, like they give head coaches when they win football games. And I got out of there and literally started re-sweating like I was before I took that shower.
You're like, when I got there, you're like, sorry, dude, it's hot. You're like, I got to get that air conditioner from my parents. I'm going to go get it tomorrow. I'm like, we could have fucking went and got it today before we fucking sat down, dude. I would have helped you put it in the goddamn window.
I should have, but dude, it just made the whole experience of that more interesting. I told you that before.
Oh yeah, when I first got there, it wasn't too bad. You put that little fan up in the window, and
Yeah.
that was giving us some relief. But man, when we moved to the living room, it was like sitting down, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And it's like the day got hotter. But then remember when we walked out when I was leaving, it was such a beautiful day. It wasn't even really that hot.
No, it was amazing outside.
It's just your shitty circulation in your apartment just it was baking us.
Top floor, buddy. Heat rises, man. And you know that now, don't you?
I was so happy to get out and like just be in the because it was dark too.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, the sun, I didn't realize it was still that light out when I left. And I was like, I'm driving. It looks so clean. And we watched that fucking episode of Workaholics where they trash their house and shit.
Yeah.
So I felt like like it was just tripping me out, dude. Like I felt like I was trashy and I didn't even want to throw my cigarette butt out the window. I was like, I can't, there's so much pristine beauty because it's May. Everything's bright and vibrant and alive. And I'm just like, I don't want to tarnish this beautiful town.
Later on, a few episodes after this one, we need to tell the story about that day and the experience, don't we?
Yes, that day inspired this podcast and the name of it. So
It did. And it's a wild story, is it not?
it's pretty intense. Yeah.
And it all happened just in my little apartment on Main Street. And we'll tell the full story. We're not ready to tell it yet, but we will, and you're gonna love it when we do.
Yeah. It's a really good story. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. No cap either. It's true. It really is a good story. We're not just cock teasing you guys.
No, it was an epic day.
Yep, sure was. It's one I'll never forget, and I don't think I could if I wanted to.
It inspired greatness.
It did. It
Yeah.
did. That was the birth of the church.
The birth of the church. Definitely. Man, it was, oh man. I can feel it when we talk about it. I can almost feel it in my bones going back to
Dude,
that time and place.
when it was real warm the other day, I had all the windows open and it was just like the atmosphere brought back so many memories of that day. I was just like, oh man. I was gonna text you, but I didn't. I figured you probably would have thought it was corny, but it was like it was just rehashing old memory. Good memories, of course.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was, man, that the other day was a fucking fantastic day. Would have got up to almost 80 degrees.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I told Lacey, I was like, dude, if we had an electric grill, or not an electric grill, because right now all I have is the smoker. I said, if we had a charcoal grill, I'd be drinking right now and outside, like grilling up some burgers or something.
When was the last day in February of your entire life living in this area where it was that nice.
2017, it was pretty nice that year. Remember?
I don't remember getting up in the 80s.
It was close. There was a couple days in late February when it was like mid to high 70s. And then we got that freak snowstorm in March and it melted like 3 days later.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like the
Yeah,
middle or end of March, I think it was. We got like 8 or 9 inches of snow.
that's what I'm worried about, man. Everybody's like, "Oh, we got lucky this winter. We got lucky this winter." First of all, we're not even out of February, and March notoriously for this area can be some of the worst winter weather, we've ever had.
We had a blizzard in 93 in March.
Yup, exactly. That's what I'm saying, man.
I remember it. I was out in the backyard pretending to be the white-eyed wolf.
Okay.
I was obsessed with Power Rangers and shit, so it was like my take on Power Rangers. I was the white-eyed wolf, and I had to fight the red-eyed wolf. So me, the white-eyed wolf, the blue-eyed wolf, and the green-eyed wolf, we'd get together and we'd fight. It was just me. I was a little fucking nerdy. You know what? At that time, I was 5 years old. Little nerdy 5-year-old out back on all fours, just trudging through the snow. I was the white-eyed wolf. I was taking on all the enemies.
You were in the zone.
Oh yeah, I had a fucking creative imagination, dude, back then. That was before my dad and mom, well, they had just gotten separated, I think, or split up. So, but I mean, up until I was 7, I was like the only child. Well, I
Right.
wasn't the only child, but I was the youngest. My oldest sister, the closest one to me in age, is 9 years older than me. So you think I'm
Okay.
not, or I'm 5 years old. She's 14 now. She don't want anything to do with a little fucking 5-year-old kid.
Right.
So I'm out there just entertaining myself, man.
That's cool, brother.
I was the white-eyed wolf. I forgot about that until I just started talking about that. That snowstorm took me back. Thinking about that snowstorm.
Well, like I said, we're gonna do I think we should do a whole episode, a few episodes from now, where we pretty much describe that whole day in May last year, and you give your take on it, and I give my take on it. I think it'd be a good episode.
Do you think it started in May of 22 or did it start in October of 2008 or 2007? Is that when it
Oh,
really started?
see, there you go. We could do a two-part episode with that because that was pretty wild too.
That was a great experience. We had the room was shifting around us. There were Barbie dolls involved. There was a plant that was not existent that we ran into the
Remember
next day.
the camel wides, the stumps? Remember we were
Yeah.
smoking them?
Yeah, those were they menthols or were they full flavored?
Fuck, back then I don't even know, dude.
I think he had the camel wide menthols. Remember the rice and the eggs?
Yep, I do remember that. That was a sad little meal.
What was it? Psilocybin and rice.
Yeah, that was a sad ass meal, but it was
We couldn't
fun.
even eat it all. Like
No,
I felt like I was eating maggots.
dude, I like quickly lost my appetite. Like once things started ramping up, I was like, yeah, I'm not hungry anymore.
Yeah, that was a wild experience, dude. And you put Master P on. You hear all the clocks ticking in the background and shit. Where you're like, nope, gotta change this. And I was like, that's when I was like, let's put on Tool. I had that Tool CD, the rock
Yeah,
band, and it was that one like that album alone, just listening to it stone sober will make you fucking feel different. Like
yeah, their stuff was trippy.
they have some like Native American kind of shit and just like drums where they're not even singing, it's just and you're like, what the fuck? And that's when you were like, I think at the crescendo of one of the songs, a truck drove by and the song like hit its peak at the same exact time. And that's when you looked at me, you were like, did the room just move? And I was just like, yeah, dude, it did. Did you feel it?
That was wild.
That was like the change in the atmosphere of that night. I think shortly after that was after man, I'm gonna give it all away. Yeah, I'm just gonna stop
Yeah,
there.
save it, take that thought and store it in your memory bank, and we'll go through it. We'll do a whole episode on it. I think people would like it.
That was a it was an adventure though. So get ready whenever we decide to embark on that episode because it's an epic.
Both were epic, in my opinion.
It's like the Odyssey with Odysseus. It's a journey.
Yep, that was
It
our Odyssey.
it helped create the people that we are today.
It really did. It really did. But anyway, we're almost an hour in, if not over. Do you want to go ahead and transition into pick your pawn stars?
Yeah, let's do pick your pawn stars. Sounds good.
All right, guys, pick your Pawn Stars once again. If this is your first time listening, this bit is based off of the show on History Channel, Pawn Stars, and we take three of the four Pawn Stars, Chumley, the old man, and Corey, also known as Hoss, and we throw them into three scenarios. Dustin has three scenarios to pick from, and he can pick one of three Pawn Stars for each scenario. Dustin, the first scenario, which Pawn Star would you trust to give your wife a ride to work? And I mean, they have to give her a ride to work 5 days a week. That's every day your wife is going to be riding with this dude to and from work. Which one do you pick?
Pops, I think Pops, he would be decent. He is happily married. He was happily married to his wife for 60 plus years.
Yeah.
So I think he would be decent. I don't really trust Chum Lee around anybody. I mean, that dude probably hump a stump. And Corey, I think he's him and his dad. They just go through women like nothing. I think Rick's on like his fifth or sixth marriage. I think Corey's been married a time or two. So
Pops would
unfortunately,
Pops would be a gentleman and he'd be responsible. You know he'd be picking her up and dropping her off on time.
yeah, exactly. Wouldn't be hitting on her.
Right.
Trying to fill her up and shit like Chum would. I think Corey would be a little smoother because I mean, if you're getting a ride to work once, they might need you to get a ride again. So I think Corey would be on the slow tip, trying to worm his way in.
Right.
He's trying to be the best friend first.
He'd weasel his way into the situation. He'd fuck your life up.
Yeah, and Chum Lee would just be straight sexual harassment.
All right, buddy. I got a very low battery right now. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if my shit's not charging or what. So we'll do the next ones pretty quickly. I think I got enough to get through a little bit now. But you have a new direct supervisor at work. It's one of three Pawn Stars. If you had to pick a supervisor you'd be willing to work for, which Pawn Star would it be and why?
That's a hard question, but I think Chum, because I could get over on him and pretty much do whatever I want, I could run things through because he would just kind of be there. No real responsibility. Now, if I was thinking about the company as a whole, I'd probably go with Pops. But just for my own well being and being able to do what I wanted to do, I'd pick Chum just because he'd turn a blind eye to most things.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So I think that's, like I said, if I were looking out for the company, Pops, looking out for myself, Chum.
I agree with that.
Corey would be like middle line. You'd have a successful company, probably let you get away with shit every once in a while, but he'd probably start trying to lord it over everybody. So
He'd be a dick after a while.
yeah, I'm the boss.
All right, and then the last one, and this one's a doozy, so I can't wait to hear your response to this. But you have to go to the doctor. It's a Monday morning, and the main thing on the doctor's list is you have to get a prostate exam. Dustin, which one of the three Pawn Stars would you be most comfortable with getting a prostate exam from? That's a tough one.
Would it make me have an Irish accent?
Unless they stuck a shillelagh up your ass.
Oh man, I'd go with Pops for that one too, just because he would give you the bad news, the good news. He'd be right down the middle with it. Um, there would be no suspect, ulterior motives with him. I feel like I could trust Pops as a doctor, not even just to do a prostate exam, just as a human being and a doctor to be the most responsible party there. I'm not comfortable with anybody doing it, but once I hit 40 or whatever the age is that you need to get it done, I'm getting it done. And my doctor that I currently have, I'd be comfortable with him. I'd be comfortable with Pops. Chum, I would not. Man, that motherfucker would have like an oversized dildo trying to shove it in your ass and shit.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Would you want Chum's little sausage finger, or not little, big sausage finger going up your ass? That could be traumatizing.
It wouldn't even be a medical appointment at that time. He'd just be like, "Oh, I seen a piece of corn." He'd be making stupid fucking jokes. I'd be like, "Dude, you're fucking 2 knuckles deep in my asshole right now. Like, what'd you eat for dinner last night? Nothing. I did a colon cleanse, asshole. Oh, I'm the asshole. I'm playing with your asshole. Like he'd be fucking just. It would be nonstop. I'd be like, dude, shut the fuck up and let's get this over with.
That would suck.
And Corey just wouldn't be able to get the shit together. It would take too long.
He'd come up with excuse after excuse after excuse of why he couldn't, why it's taken so long. Well, let me wash my hands. Oh, these gloves aren't going to fit. Let me go get another pair of gloves. Or, you know what? I'm going to take a break. Why don't you sit tight real quick? You can pull your pants up for a minute.
Which I'm appreciative of to an extent. I mean, he doesn't want to do it. I don't want it to have it done, but at the end of the day, the medical procedure has to be done.
It's got to get done.
You might not want to play around with another man's asshole. I don't want you to play around with my asshole, but I need to have it done. I think Pops would be the most responsible, and he would, like I said, he would give you the good news if there was good news, bad news. There wouldn't be any jokes in there. Maybe a couple like good bedside manner kind of jokes, but nothing like Chumley, like preschool humor.
Yeah, Chum's too immature to handle anything like that.
And Corey, it would be drawn out. It's just no, you don't. That's Corey tries to get out of doing shit he doesn't want to do.
Exactly.
And it would be like you're dragging this out, dude. I just want to get it done and get it over with. Like, come on, let's fucking pick up the pace a little bit.
I got to get to work. I was hoping this would only be about 20 minutes. Dude, what are you doing back there?
And then if he did see something, he'd be like, "Oh shit, man!" And it might not even be something big. Like you might have a benign polyp or something. He's just like, "Oh my god!" And you're sitting there thinking you got a fucking huge tumor in your asshole, and it's like, "What the fuck is he seeing?" He's like, "Oh, that's nothing." And it's like you're sitting there having fucking several mini heart attacks because he's just blowing shit out of proportion.
Yeah, for real.
He runs it into the side of your fucking rectum. He's like, "Oh man, there's a huge block of." Oh nope, sorry, I was just hitting the side a little bit. The camera got a little bent up. Sorry about that. It's like, what the fuck are you doing back there, dude? Do your job. Hold on, man. I need to go smoke a cigarette real quick.
Exactly.
It's fucking 30 minutes later. He comes back in.
That's great, man.
So yeah, Pops is the one.
Well, Dustin, you ready to wrap it up? You got a closing statement or a closing segment for us, or?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. As always, we appreciate everybody that listens to the whole episode. We clip everything up for you if you don't like watching long form. So we'll definitely have the shorts, the reels. Finally got fucking Facebook to work again, so I can schedule posts on that. So that's an added bonus to have that work again. Fucking multi-billion-dollar companies can't get their shit right for creators. Come on now, But it's working now. Don't let me jinx it here and it start fucking up on me again. But we appreciate you again. If you're in the Chantilly, Ashburn, or Alexandria area, check out Burger Shack. Go get you that Ring of Fire burger. You're not going to get anything off of it for going there, me telling you, but it's really good. Your mouth's going to get a fucking surprise. That's what's going to happen.
It's just a plug. If
Yeah,
we like it, we want you to enjoy it too.
yeah, exactly. So go check them out. Check us out. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, on Rumble now too. So we're all across all the social media. We don't have Snapchat because that shit's for like 15-year-olds, and I don't really understand how to use it. So I'm not even gonna lie. Uh, but we're on and TikTok. We're on that. So check us out on the social media that you enjoy using the most. We appreciate you guys listening, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Peace.
Remember when I used to get real high and say later out? You'd say peace out, and I'd be like later out, bro, man.
Later. You would be like later out.
It's
Later.
like that. It's like that. You remember? Sorry, guys. But you remember the movie I Love You, Man?
Yeah.
He's like latest on the Minjay, and he's like, I don't know why I said that. That was me back in the day, wasn't it?
That was, yeah, that was, it was, there were times that were just very awkward.
I would just be blitzed out of my fucking mind, be like, peace out, bromansky. See, chiefing like an Indian, giggling and laughing. So, but yeah, as always, we appreciate you guys. See you guys next week.